Okay, so get this right. What if the English language, English itself, has like a secret code? Kind of crazy, right? Well, that's what we're going to be diving into today with Heaven's Fire by Kizzi Nkwocha.
Yeah, it's a wild ride, let me tell you.
Mhm.
It blends like fact and fiction, and not just like a little bit. It really makes you question everything.
Right, like it starts with this professor. He's teaching his students about something called English gematria.
Oh, absolutely. This is ancient numerology, right? The Hebrews, the Greeks, they were really into this, assigning numerical values to letters to try and find hidden meanings.
Okay, so is that basically what this English gematria is all about?
Yeah, so like each letter in English gets a number, A equals 1, B equals 2, and so on.
Okay, so far so good, but how does this all connect to like a hidden code?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. When you start adding up the letters in certain words,
Hmm.
especially words that share a meaning, you often get the same total.
No way. So are you saying there are examples of this, like in the book?
Oh, tons.
Yeah.
And they're pretty mind-blowing.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, so take the words ocean and tide, for instance. They both add up to 38.
Whoa, no way. That's kind of creepy.
Right. Or how about this judgment, dispute, innocent, guilty? It's all add up to 94.
Oh, come on. That's got to be intentional. How else?
It really makes you wonder, right, like, was there some kind of intentional design in language? Or are these just crazy coincidences?
I mean, that's wild. And speaking of wild, this next one blew my mind, especially as someone who, loves a bit of capitalism. So trade, buy, and sell all equal 48. Okay, that's kind of interesting, I guess, but profit, that equals 84. It's like double, almost like
Yeah.
a cosmic endorsement of capitalism.
Fascinating. There really might be a hidden layer of meaning there.
Yeah.
But before we get too deep into gematria, the novel kind of takes this sharp turn. You know, the professor gets an urgent call that pulls him into this like super shadowy world of secrets and conspiracies.
Okay, and this is where the author, Nkwocha, really starts weaving reality into the story,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He brings in real historical figures, actual events, and it's all masterfully intertwined with the fictional narrative.
Okay, so set the scene for me. What's happening?
So we find ourselves in this high-stakes meeting at Claridge's Hotel in London, and everyone's talking about alien encounters. But not just any aliens, mind you.
What, like biblical aliens? Come on.
Yeah. We're talking about the Book of Enoch.
Okay, I've heard of it, but to be honest, I don't know much about it.
Yeah, it's an ancient text, often left out of the traditional Bible, but it's full of some seriously shocking claims.
Shocking, like how?
Well, it talks about these beings called watchers. They're basically angels, but they're not exactly the benevolent figures you might imagine.
Okay, so what did these watchers do? They just, like, watch. That's not so bad, I guess.
Oh, no, they did a bit more than watch. According to the Book of Enoch, they interacted with humans in ways that make, like, modern alien abduction stories seem tame.
Whoa, okay, so we're talking like angels and aliens all wrapped up in this one book.
Basically, the Book of Enoch is believed to have been written sometime between the 3rd century BC and the 1st century AD.
Wow, that's old. Who wrote it, do we know?
Well, it's attributed to Enoch, who is Noah's great-grandfather.
Ark guy. Okay, I'm starting to see where this is going. So this book, it says that angels actually came down to Earth.
That's what it claims.
Yeah.
And get this, they were supposedly captivated by human women.
Okay. That sounds a little, forbidden, to say the least.
Yeah, forbidden might be an understatement. The book says these angels, these watchers, they descended to Earth and, well, let's just say they got a little too friendly with the locals.
Hold on, hold on. Back it up a sec. Angels, like, actually mating with humans? That sounds a little too much like a sci-fi movie. No.
Well, it's definitely a wild concept. But, it's interesting how much it kind of echoes those modern-day alien abduction stories. It's like this idea of otherworldly beings messing with humans, sharing knowledge, even, procreating. It's like these themes, they just keep popping up throughout history. It's kind of like we're hardwired to think about this stuff.
So, okay, let's say, for argument's sake, that this actually happened, right? What happened to these angel-human hybrids? Did they just kind of blend in?
Well, about that. The Book of Enoch has something to say about it. They were called the Nephilim, and they were often described as these giants. But their time on Earth didn't exactly last long. They were judged, and their souls were condemned to wander the earth as spirits.
Intense. Okay, so now I gotta ask, if this Book of Enoch is, like, the real deal, why'd the church try to bury it? What were they so afraid of?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Scholars have been going back and forth on that for centuries. But it seems like the church was really worried about what the book had to say, especially about angels, free will, even knowledge itself. It's like this book, it challenged their authority. It
Hmm.
presented a whole different way of looking at things, especially the divine,
So they tried to, like, discredit it, make it go away.
basically. But here's the thing. The Book of Enoch, it's like it had a life of its own. It survived, tucked away in libraries, hidden in collections, just waiting to be rediscovered.
So it's like a forbidden fruit. People always want what they can't have, right?
Exactly. And that forbidden knowledge, it's still got people talking, debating, wondering,
Right.
even today.
Okay, so we've got angels, ancient texts, forbidden knowledge. This is already a lot to process. And then Nkwocha, he throws in a murder at Claridge's, a cryptic note, and this mysterious MI5 agent named Fae. Talk about a plot twist.
He sure knows how to keep things interesting.
Right.
He weaves in these fictional elements with, get this, historical facts about the development of the transistor.
Wait, the transistor, like the thing in my phone, what does that have to do with any of this?
That's the beauty of Heaven's Fire. It takes these seemingly unconnected things and makes you see the potential lengths, the what-ifs. It's like he's pulling back the curtain on a side of history we don't usually think about.
Okay, so indulge me. How does a transistor, something invented in a lab, tie back to, ancient angels and all that?
Well, this is where we kind of have to wade into like conspiracy theory territory a little bit. You familiar with the Roswell incident?
Oh, yeah, the UFO crash back in 47, right?
That's the one. So Heaven's Fire uses that as a kind of like a pivotal moment in the story, playing with the idea that some of the materials recovered from the crash site.
You mean like alien tech?
Yeah, exactly. It suggests those materials, they might have ended up in the hands of some very clever scientists at Bell Laboratories.
Hold on. Are you saying that the Roswell crash led to the invention of the transistor?
It's definitely a bold claim, but remember, this is a thriller. Nkwocha's playing with possibilities here. He wants you to question everything. But it's a fascinating thought, isn't it? What if our modern world, our smartphones, our computers, all of it, is built on technology that's, well, out of this world?
Okay, but even if we entertain that idea for a second, what does it have to do with the Book of Enoch?
Well, the novel seems to draw a connection between the knowledge that the Watchers supposedly gave to humans and this advanced tech that might have come from the Roswell crash.
So it's like this ancient knowledge, it kind of resurfaced in this really unexpected, like super modern way.
That's one way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
But Heaven's Fire takes it a step further. It digs into this idea that there are these powerful forces, right? And they've been operating in the shadows throughout history to control this knowledge, to keep it to themselves.
Okay, hold up. Now we're going full conspiracy theory here. Who are these powerful forces? Like, who are we talking about? Okay, so we've got powerful forces, ancient knowledge, a potential link to alien technology. My brain's doing backflips trying to keep up.
That's the thing about Heaven's Fire. It takes you on this wild ride through history, mythology, even science fiction. It's like Nkwocha is challenging us to rethink everything we thought we knew.
So who are these powerful forces he keeps hinting at? Give me names.
Well, he gets pretty specific in the novel, introducing us to this group called the Order. And get this, they're not just some random fictional group. He links them to real-world organizations like Skull and Bones.
No way. Skull and Bones. Like the super secret Yale Society, the one with all the conspiracy theories.
That's the one. Nkwocha paints them as this, like, shadowy elite, pulling the strings from behind the scenes, influencing global events, all to further their own agenda.
And what is that agenda exactly? What do they want?
Control, basically. They believe that certain knowledge is just too dangerous for the average Joe like you and me, right?
And they see themselves as the ones who gotta, protect humanity from itself.
Okay, hold up. Who's protecting us from them, right? If these guys are as powerful as you say, who's keeping them in check?
That's the question, isn't it? And the novel really makes you think about the whole idea of power, who has it, who abuses it. And it makes you wonder, what lengths would they go to in order to maintain that control?
So where does this missing last scripture of the Book of Enoch fit into all of this? Like, why is it so important, and what does the Order want with it?
Well, that's what our protagonists, the professor and Faye, are trying to find out, right? Their quest for this lost piece of the puzzle takes them all the way to Israel. It's like Dan Brown meets Raiders of the Lost Ark. Seriously.
Yeah.
So are they, like, dodging booby traps and fighting off secret agents while they're searching for this ancient text?
Not quite. But it's definitely a thrilling ride. They're following these clues hidden within the Book of Enoch itself. And along the way, they start uncovering these like hidden connections between the book, the Watchers, and maybe even our own technological development.
Okay, so not to give too much away, do they find it? Do they find the missing scripture?
Well, you'll have to read Heaven's Fire to find out. But I can tell you this, the ending is a real roller coaster. Nkwocha throws in this incredible twist that leaves you questioning everything you thought you knew.
You're killing me. No spoilers, I get it. But seriously, this whole deep dive has me thinking, what if Heaven's Fire isn't just a work of fiction? What if it's more like a warning?
It definitely makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like, are we really in control of our own destiny? Or are there forces at play that we're not even aware of, shaping our world in ways we can't even imagine?
I gotta say, this whole conversation has been mind-blowing. I'm gonna be looking at the world a little differently after this deep dive. Thanks for, opening my eyes to all this.
Anytime. That's what we're here for, to make you think, to make you question, to make you, want to learn more.
Mission accomplished. For anyone listening who's ready to take the plunge, grab a copy of Heaven's Fire and let us know what you think. Until next time, keep those thinking caps on.